Welcome to Listworthy's Top 10 list of TV shows about being stranded on an island. If you are a fan of movies like Castaway, The Blue Lagoon, and The Mysterious Island, then stick around because this list of TV shows is definitely for you. And if you like this list, hit the subscribe button for more videos like this. Number 10. The Wilds. The Wilds is about a group of teenage girls from different backgrounds whose plane crashes into the ocean while en route to Hawaii for the Dawn of Eve program, a young women's empowerment retreat. They survive the crash and find themselves stranded on a deserted island. As the girls work to survive as castaways and learn about each other, they are unaware that they are the unwitting subjects of a social experiment. The plane crash was staged and their stranding orchestrated by Gretchen Klein, the head of the Dawn of Eve program. Although the girls are eventually quote-unquote rescued, a second experiment begins with a group of men and the female group begins to connect the dots to the truth. Number 9. Class of '07. Starring Emily Browning, Caitlin Stasey, and Megan Smart, Class of '07 is about a group of women who gather at their old all-girls school for their 10th-year reunion. During the evening celebrations, an apocalyptic tidal wave hits, and in the morning they discover that the land their school is sitting on is the only dry and safe place left. The group has to find a way to survive on the island peak of their old high school campus, while dealing with old high school dramas and traumas. Number 8. The Stranded. The Stranded is a Thai drama that follows privileged teenagers who all attend the same elite school. On the last night of high school, as they party away, a powerful tsunami hits, and they're all swept off onto a mysterious island. As they slowly get their bearings and formulate a plan to escape, they discover secrets that hint at something much more dark and sinister at play as strange occurrences on the island start to happen. Number 7. The Island. This 7-part miniseries follows 10 people who wake up on the beach of what appears to be a deserted tropical island. None of them have any memory of who they are, or how they got there, and each takes on the name that is printed on their clothes tags. The group make initial attempts to band together, but differing priorities and strong personalities cause some of them to clash. What nobody knows is that they are all in a futuristic Texas correctional prison facility, and that they are violent crime prisoners who are part of a rehabilitation simulation. Their minds have been put in the computer simulation of the island to test if they'll resume old behavioral patterns. Anyone who dies in the simulation dies in real life. The avatars of 2 prison marshals also arrive on the island simulation to deliberately cause the group to fight and split up. Number 6. Lost. Ranked regularly by critics as one of the greatest television series in history, Lost follows the survivors of a commercial jet airliner flying between Sydney and Los Angeles, after the plane crashes on a mysterious island somewhere in the South Pacific Ocean. In the aftermath of the plane crash, the surviving passengers try to survive on the island, while at the same time seeking a way to escape it. Jack Shepard, a spinal surgeon, becomes the leader of the group, whose survival is threatened by a number of mysterious entities, including polar bears, an unseen creature that roams the jungle, and the island's malevolent inhabitants known as the Others. As time goes by, tensions rise within the group of survivors as they get differing opinions on what the best course for survival is against the supernatural secrets hiding in the shadows of the island. Number 5. And Then They Were None. Based on Agatha Christie's novel of the same name, And Then They Were None is about 8 people, all strangers to each other, who are invited to a small, isolated island off the coast of Devon, England, called Soldiers Island, by Mr. and Mrs. Owen. The guests settle in at the manor home on the island tended by 2 newly hired servants, a husband and wife, Thomas and Ethel Rogers, but their hosts are absent. During dinner, the guests hear a gramophone recording, from which a voice accuses everyone present of a murder. Shortly after this, one of the party dies from poisoning, and then more and more people are murdered, all in methods synonymous with a poem affixed in each bedroom. The remaining people must discover who the murderer is before they run out of time and nobody remains. Number 4. Wrecked. When a plane crashes on a deserted island on the way to Thailand, two new acquaintances and a diverse group of survivors have to cope with the many threats the island poses, as well as several other unique dangers, most of which they actually bring upon themselves. No longer plugged in, the group must adjust to island life and learn to live without the comforts of the modern world like social media, Wi-Fi, indoor plumbing, and Chipotle. The two friends, Danny and Owen, see their plight as a way to redeem their mediocre lives by becoming leaders of this new society. However, the crash survivors struggle to get along, and heads clash as they have differing views on how to stay alive and get off the island. Number 3. The Great Escapists. Starring Richard Hammond and Tori Belisai as fictionalized versions of themselves, The Great Escapists is about two friends who go on a fishing trip together. However, their boat is wrecked by a storm and they end up stranded on an unnamed deserted island in the Pacific Ocean. The two use the remains of the boat to build makeshift machinery in order to escape the island, but Richard secretly sabotages their escape plans, as he does not want their adventure to end prematurely. Thinking that there is no way to escape the island, Tori resigns and the two build a large beach house that enables them to live on the island in comfort, using the island's resources for food and fresh water. Tensions arise between the two when Tori, suspecting Richard of sabotage, kicks him out of their beach house, starting a war between the two, where they repurpose most of their machinery into war machines and the house is largely destroyed. Number 2. Crusoe. Based loosely on Daniel Defoe's novel, Crusoe is about a man named Robinson Crusoe, who goes on a voyage to the New World after he is wrongly accused of being a part of a rebellion against the crown, due in part to the dark intentions of those he believes are his friends. He ends up being shipwrecked on an island for over 6 years, and desperately desires to return to his wife and children, whom he left back in England. As the series progresses, more information is revealed about how he became shipwrecked in the form of flashbacks and cutaways. Allowed to develop away from the bonds of 17th-century life, and possessing a talent for things mechanical, the ingenious Crusoe builds a breathtaking and altogether modern home high up in the trees to elude his enemies. Number 1. They Were 10. A French adaptation of Agatha Christie's novel, And Then They Were None, but set in modern times, They Were 10, follows 5 women and 5 men, who are invited to a luxury hotel on a deserted tropical island. They soon realize they are completely isolated, cut off from the rest of the world, and all means of communication, which rapidly becomes their worst nightmare. Each having committed a murder in the past, the journey to get to the truth requires that they look into their past, which none of them are particularly eager to do. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to support the channel by subscribing and hitting the notification bell.